Hey, it's Brett and Coach here, and today we are back continuing our Drink Illinois passport. We are here out in the burbs, specifically at Bubblehouse, so let's jump right into it. First up is Pockets. Nice tartness to it, not a super strong fruit flavor. Goes down pretty easy. I wish it was a little bit more bolder or defined when it comes to taste. Really like the color. I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10. And next up is Mad, which is an IPA.
Maybe we'll see you tomorrow. Okay.
Normally I'm not a big IPA fan. This one I actually really enjoy. It's way more floral, very little bitterness, if at all. More citrusy than anything. I'd probably give that a 7.5. And then this is Hoop House. Has a good funk to it that isn't overpowering or off-putting. I really like the clearness on it. Really adds to the flavor. It isn't too odd, so it actually works on my palate. So far, so good. I'd probably give that a 7 as well. Hopefully this last one keeps up with the streak, which is Sploot. This is the most disappointing one out of the 4, but not necessarily in a bad way. It just doesn't really do anything. Fairly light and watery. It's still drinkable, but not really a big flavor. Not many flavor notes at all. I'd give it a 5. It's pretty inoffensive, but not much more than that. But that wraps up here at Bubblehouse, and let's head to our next stop. So as you can see, we're here at Goldfinger, and we got some pretty sizable beers. We did ask for the 0.5s, but this is what we ended up with. Hopefully it's good, but this will be a lot for me to drink. First up is the Sparkling Lager, which is their celebration lager. It comes in at 5.1% and says it's like a champagne beer. So I'm kind of thinking Miller High Life-y. Lagers aren't usually my go-to, but if they're celebrating their 5 years, might as well go for it. A lot of head to it. It's taking all my effort just to not and like eat it like a marshmallow. If Miller High Life actually had flavor, that is a compliment. I do like the head on it. It's foamy. It is bready and almost denser than a lager, but still dry and crisp, almost cracker-like. Easy drinking, perfect for summer. Very crisp and refreshing. Overall, I enjoy it. I could see someone having multiple without getting super tired of it. For a lager, not half bad, but it wouldn't be my go-to. It's pretty bare bones. So I would give it a 6.5. I enjoy it, but I appreciate a little bit more creativity when it comes to beer. But that's also the style, so I have to respect that. And then this is the 5th anniversary Bock, coming in at 6.6%. They say it's a very malty lager. So we'll see if that holds up and see if I like this better than the Celebration. It doesn't have as much flavor, but the flavor that is here is much deeper, rich, almost a velvety breadiness to it that I can appreciate. I think for one sip, I enjoy this more, but for having more of it or even a full drink, I think I do prefer the Celebration Lager. I would also give this a 6.5. I think it's the same rating as I gave the other. I'm not super big on the overall style of beers like this, but I can give credit where credit is due and respect it. I'll enjoy these, but I might not seek them out as my go-to lager or Bock. As we were drinking our beer, I'm working through them. We were reading the back of the menu that has their story and their mission behind it, and I will just highlight that they take traditions very seriously. So that's why it is strictly a lager, a Bock. They say it's been in the family for centuries, And even in the 19th century, it was founded by the Goldfinger family in Krakow, Poland, and has been trying to keep to that tradition to this day. And they even have a couple different artifacts and different things from that era in the tap room. And it's interesting to know, because I commented about the foam or the head of the beer, they purposely do that to keep it with the Polish or Czech style of beer, and their taps are more like faucets versus the traditional taps. Very happy with checking out Goldfinger Brewing, but let's head on to the next spot. But also, hit that subscribe button because this is just part 1 of today, and next video will be part 2 of this brewery adventure out in the burbs. And for our last stop for part 1, we are here in Noon Whistle. This is the Raspberry Thunderin, coming in at 4.5%, which is a wild ale. Smells very sour, very funky. Looking forward to it. Sour, slightly sweet. I think the raspberry flavor comes through at a nice level where it's not overpoweringly berry forward, but you can still identify it. Gets the spit glands going. Really appreciate the color as well. For a wild ale, I enjoy it. Easy on the palate, but still flavorful. A little bit sour, so a full pour may be a little bit difficult to fully get through. So for this, I would give it a 7. This is Blue Wheatberry, which is a fruited wheat beer, coming in at 4.5%. Clearly, it is a wheat beer with blueberry, hence the name. Pretty straightforward. I just hope it has a strong blueberry flavor based on this color. Blueberry I can find being a gimmicky flavor or it's super subtle. This is not the case. It has a very strong blueberry flavor that's super easily identifiable. Has a nice blueberry reddish purple color as well that I highly appreciate. Thoroughly enjoy this. So as a wheat beer, this is probably one of the better ones that I've had. I'd give this an 8. And then last up here at Noon Whistle, I got T-Rex Arms, which is a Brett Saison. Really wonder why I got it. Ooh, that is a very strong farmhousey Saison smell. It is coming in at 6.5%, which is pretty solid for a Saison. It's described as bready with a lot of funk and still delicious. Hopefully that holds true. The smell definitely says so. Funky and weird for sure. I describe this flavor as paint thinner, wood varnish. That's not a read, that's just the best way I can put it. It's one of the more grapefruit, bitter, malorty Saisons that I've had, but I appreciate its uniqueness and willing to do something. Is it for me? Not necessarily, but I'd rather have someone swing big than not at all. So with that, I would give it a 6. I'm glad Noon Whistle is willing to have fun, push the boundaries, see what works, what doesn't, and actually swing big and follow through. Because I would rather have a beer that tries to do too much and isn't successful, or all the way successful, versus a beer that plays it a little too safe and is let down. So all 3 of these definitely understand and appreciate. But this is going to wrap up part 1 here for our suburb adventure. Make sure you like, comment down below, as well as hit the subscribe button so you don't miss part 2, as well as any of my other videos coming up. Otherwise, this has been Brett and Coach, and I will see you next time in Coach.